Hello, everybody. It's been a while. Not as long, but still a little bit. Um, I don't do videos as much as I should. Back for some more Furby stuff. I have two Furbies. Well, one Furby and one, Furby relative. Furby friend, I guess, would be the official term for it. I don't even know if that was actually the official term for it. I just know that's what people called him, and that I guess makes sense. Even though Yoda really wasn't. I don't even know if he was marketed as a Furby at all. Like, he wasn't even, not a Furby, but like, I'm pretty sure on E.T.'s box it did say from the makers of Furby. Maybe it did on Yoda's too. I don't know. I'm blind. Can't see the boxes. But no. I wanted to go through some info, basically everything I knew from just messing with things about the test modes. Messing with things is kind of how I figure out everything. A lot of people I have noticed are kind of weird, and not really weird, but they have a more normal way of thinking about things. But the way I see things is the only way to figure something out is to start with a finished product and work your way backwards. And, the source code goes way over my head. I've looked at some of it and gotten lost halfway through. Even like the things that kind of try to explain things. Like, I understand some of it, and I can kind of go, okay, that's cool, that's how that works. But a lot of things I didn't really get. So most of the stuff is kind of a combination of things I've heard from other people, what I know from kind of fucking with shit, and also that. And the little bit that other people, I guess, kind of translated from the source code. So Spindash a few days ago made a video on the '98 Furby, on the original Furby's test mode, and then yesterday or the day before made a video on Shelby's test mode. And that kind of got me, thinking about the Furbies again, because I've kind of been focusing on some other things. And I came back to the Furbies, and I was like, this is interesting. It's not the most interesting. There's no sound test or anything like that. No, I guess, nothing to test LPC related things. But I still think it's interesting in its own way. Unfortunately, these are my only two working Furbies. I have had a couple originals. Most of them that I've gotten have all been either broken when I got them, or I do something dumb and break them. Done that a couple times. I had E.T., but he sadly broke. So, as of right now, all I have is a Furby baby and Yoda. I do have his lightsaber. We will get to that, because that's an interesting thing. But Furby Baby I do want to look at. I want to go through the test mode and kind of clarify some things. Maybe not clarify some things, but point out some things that I noticed from messing with the test modes. Yoda and Shelby seem to... there's a few differences. I kind of think, and here's the weird thing, it seems like the test mode, specifically the test mode, had a few sort of revisions as far as how it was programmed. I don't know. I've had a first gen Furby, but I didn't have that one for very long. So I don't remember too much of it. I've messed around with the test mode on it because I'm weird and I hardly ever play with things as intended. No, I'm kidding. I do a lot, actually. But I like to mess around with every aspect of a thing if I can, until I figure it out and, know how it works. But yeah, I apparently, I don't know if this was in the source code or if people just kind of, I don't know where that came from. But apparently first gen Furbies don't have the motor test in the TM. They have the sort of startup sequence, like the calibration sequence, but they don't have the motor test. Honestly, I don't remember. So don't take anything I say on that. Don't quote me on that. I thought it did. But I think I'm so used to second gen Furbies and newer that I could just not be remembering right. And then of course they changed it in the second generation Furbies. The Furby Baby has a couple differences. And I assume Gizmo, because I know he came out in '99, kind of around the same, maybe a little after the Furby Babies. I don't have a Gizmo. I've never had a Gizmo. Honestly, Gizmo's not one I've ever really been interested in getting. So, I don't know. But the, this is weird. Sometimes I wish I could edit stuff, because my brain will just die halfway through a thought and then take a second to recover. Yoda and Shelby seem to do things a little bit different, or at least one specific part of it. I don't remember much of how E.T. works. I remember some of his. Like, I know he worked similar to Yoda. I think it was a little different. But I know it worked similar to Yoda. I know getting into E.T.'s test mode is weird because you only need to hold one of the hands. I don't think it matters which one. I don't remember. Maybe it's the right one. I don't remember, honestly. Yoda, you have to hold both. But one thing I've noticed is Yoda and Shelby, or Shelby, at least from Spindash's video on it, on the test mode for Shelby, sort of, I guess, calibrates the light sensor right as it goes into the light sensor test. But the original Furbies and the baby do it right as you enter TM. Even though the light sensor test doesn't come until later. Maybe not right as you enter TM, but somewhere early on. Like before you even think about getting to the light sensor test. So you know what? I guess I'm going to shut the hell up. Because if I don't, I'm going to be talking for a while. I'm going to put it in TM. I'm going to face it towards this light I have over here. So away from the camera. We're going to... Okay. Oh wait, I should have probably kept it facing there. Because I don't know if it like calibrates it before or after it does that. Okay. So again, like normal, you have the sort of the EEPROM test. You can do that by hitting the belly from here. The speaker and IR test you can go into from by hitting the back, and then the full test mode you can go you can turn it upside down to get into. One thing I do want to say, actually, before I do anything, and this is another, I guess, thing. I don't really know what the source code says on this because I haven't looked at the section about the TM. I just know what I've heard from other people. Going into the test mode, literally just going into it, and even going through the full test mode, at least most of the way through, doesn't actually mess with the EEPROM at all. The only time it ever does is when you hit the belly. So I'm going to reset it because I do want to check what its current state is, to reference that for later, for a later experiment I want to try, or maybe not experiment because I've already tried it, but I want to show this. So it shouldn't have done anything. But I did do this earlier, so it is going to start. It is starting from a fresh reset. Name is Nitai. Fresh start. Let's do that. And you know what? Just to make sure, because that's another thing that I've never heard people talk about, is it writes in normal mode. Okay, I wanted you to register that anyway. Cool. It writes to the EEPROM only when it goes to sleep. It stores everything in RAM up until the point where it goes to sleep, and then as soon as it goes to sleep, it shits it all into the EEPROM. And I know I can confirm this because if I reset it now, I've messed with it for a while, you know, at least for a few seconds. Either it's when it goes to sleep or very long intervals of time, like sort of increments of time while it's awake, but I don't think it does it at all when it's awake. If I reset it now, it'll still keep the same name, but it won't remember the mama or dada thing. So I think when it does the name and technically voice pitch, but I'll get to that later. The name, voice pitch, things like that, it picks when you first reset it and like right before, like when you factory reset it and before it wakes up, and then I guess it reads from that when it starts up to make sure that, you know, to I guess know what it's putting in there, like loading into RAM. But any sort of user, like the mommy or daddy setting, the sort of progress that you're making through stages, the hunger and sickness levels, stuff like that, will only update when it goes to sleep. Again, they will kind of dynamically change, I guess, in the RAM as you're messing with it, but it won't actually store that until it goes to sleep. So, again, this is the quickest way to put it to sleep. And you can't really count on the light sensor reliably working to just hold it for 20 seconds. Because the lighting in here is slightly weird. Wait for it to fully shut off. Okay, cool. Now, if I either wake it up or reset it, I'll reset it just to prove my point a little bit more. It will wake up, still knowing the mama, dada. Yep. So, okay. We know 30 seconds out of the box, basically, Nitai, dada. So, going to TM. I guess the first thing that I want to talk about is the EEPROM test. It doesn't actually it doesn't actually factory reset when you do that either. What it does, because I guess what everyone had thought was it randomly picks a name and voice pitch and all that. It's almost like a factory reset, but it just messes with the hunger and sickness levels. No. The name, basically, it has what I would assume, I don't know really what the technical term for this would be, but it has an entire thing that is pre-programmed that it writes into the EEPROM when you hit the belly. And every Furby has something different. So, originals, first gens, I think the name, okay, I don't really know because that's kind of a different thing, and they do handle this a little bit different. And I don't have as much experience with a Gen 1 Furby. But Gen 2s will always be in Stage 2, be really hungry, really sick, have the name Dumo, and their voice pitch, only the people that are really weird like me will get this. No, I'm kidding. If you listen to the voice pitch and kind of know what each one sounds like, it is sort of in a weird kind of level between the lowest and the normal one. That's another thing I didn't really get in the source code, because I was looking at it and it almost seemed like they wanted to program completely random voice pitch selections between a certain, you know, like within a certain range, obviously, but it almost sounded like they were trying to program completely random voice pitch selection. But again, I don't know because that shit went way over my head. But anyway, I'm going to go off topic so much. I'm going to go on so many tangents. This video is going to be an hour long for something that I could have showed in 5 seconds. Not 5 seconds, but... so the... Gen 2 Furbies, Dumo Stage 2, sort of between low and normal pitch voice. And really hungry, really sick. And I know specifically Stage 2 because they have very specific, like, speaking patterns, I guess, or what phrases have what English and what Furby, like, you know, specific English and Furbish words. It's not random like they want you to think it is. It had all those sequences, it's not even slowly incorporate more English over time. It's, okay, Furby is now in this stage, replaced with an entire set of new sequences. Like, sequences of, like, words to use. So, like, I could go into a whole thing. Like, I can sometimes hear a Furby and know what stage it's in. You know, for example, this might seem completely pointless, and nobody would even think about this. But if a Furby, you know, if you wake up a Furby and it goes back to sleep, it could say Ka Welo Coco. That's obviously stage 1. Or it could say me sleep again, and obviously that's stage 4. But it could also say, you know, I don't know, me Welo again, or I think it's Ka Welo, I don't remember. That's stage 3. It'll say, I don't know, Ka sleep Coco. That's stage 2. That is like, those are specific. And then it's not just that sequence either. If you extensively mess with a Furby and you know what to look for, you'll be able to pick out all of the sort of sequences of things it uses. And they're all very specific to each stage. Like, I think one of the tickle sequences, like one of the tickle phrases, it has a certain weird laugh noise that it uses, only in stages 2 and 3. Basically, stages 1 and 4 are completely different. 2 and 3, I feel like all they did was really just, I don't even know if 3 uses more Furbish than 2, or if they just completely switched, like, it was half of the words were English and half of the words were Furbish in stage 2, and then they basically just swapped out the English half for the Furbish half. Or, like, you know, kind of swapped the two around in stage 3. I don't even know if it uses more English in stage 3. I think it just uses such different English in stage 3. Now that I don't think is complete, like, they didn't change all of those around. Like, I think there's still some whole phrases or some words that it still, I don't know, I don't remember everything. But I do know that there is a lot of stuff that you can pick out if you know what to look for. And you'll immediately go, yep, stage 2, stage 3. But yeah, anyway. Tangent number 52. Furby, or Gen 2 Furbies, Dumo Stage 2. Furby babies have the name Boo. They are in also stage 2, which in the case of the baby is the highest stage it goes to, because they only have 2. And then the voice pitch will be a little bit higher than normal. I mean, I guess it might be quite a bit higher than, I don't know. And then it does a weird thing, and I don't know how long that lasts, but when you reset it from there, it will say unai, kudo, before it, like, wakes up. It'll do the startup, like the calibration thing, and then it'll say that, and then it'll wake up. So I don't know what that's about. I don't know if it sends out a signal at that point, but that seems to be a specific test data thing. I don't know why. But yeah, you know what? I'll show that right now. Also, when you do the EEPROM test, everything in the test mode will get higher pitched. You can do it without doing that again. Basically, you can go all the way through the test mode without doing the IR receiver tests and not hit the belly in the main menu, and it won't affect anything in, like, any of the data that it has. But I obviously just wrote it, so here we go. Wham. Here's that. It's a lot higher pitched. Okay. And of course it will be very sick, very hungry. You can actually, I don't think there's anything, like, there's nothing special about this other than the voice is really high and the weird unai, kudo. But, like, you could technically get it better and keep it like this if you really liked, I don't know, if you wanted a slightly higher pitched voice, you could technically keep it like that. Feed it a shit ton. Let it go to sleep and wake up and play with it a few times, and it'll be recovered from the test mode sickness, and you could have a normal Furby, but you could have a normal baby but higher pitched. Shelby also does the same thing. I have messed with the Shelby, and I've messed with the TM. And if you do the EEPROM test in the Shelby's TM, it also will go high pitched. Stage 2. Let's see. Okay, that's what I was. See, I keep losing track of things. God. These videos are terrible. Yeah. Yeah, you are. You are a very hungry mupper. So if I reset it, does the unai kudo thing, does it write something to the EEPROM to say that it did that after? Let's see. So that I haven't quite figured out. I haven't figured out the mystery of that. Nope, it did it again. Okay. Dumb question. If I put it to sleep, what does it do? It's like, why would it do that right there? That's weird. Oh, I can't do deep sleep from here. Because I think it actually counts it's not just sensor inputs, it's like if it counts as an actual input or not. See, I don't think this will work. Nope, it didn't. Okay. Take a little longer, but... I think this is the next quickest way to get it to go to sleep. Should be almost there. Okay, yeah. I'd say 3, 2 more maybe. Yep. Okay, there we go. Okay. Where's my screwdriver? Will it do it now? Okay. So it only does it until you go through and play with it in that state, and it goes to sleep. When it goes to sleep, it writes something to it that gets rid of that. I don't know what that is or why it does that. No other ones. Okay, I don't know. I don't know about Shelby. I don't remember if Shelby does a weird thing when you start him up from that. But I know the Furby doesn't, like Gen 2 Furby doesn't. But yeah, so... Okay. So what I'm going to do now is go through... Not going to do the EEPROM test because we already did that. I'm going to just go through this normally. Tilt sensor, back, motor test, forward, back, hit the belly, it goes back, and then have it do the sync calibration. There it goes. Face it this way, in case it... See, this is weird. Because it's almost like if you don't put it in TM and keep it pointed at a really bright light. Also, it's another thing with the light sensor test is it's not just any change in light. Well, okay, maybe for like Yoda and Shelby it is. I don't know. I still haven't quite worked out how that works. I know it is, but I know for actually, to pass that test, it has to get darker. No? I'm just going to do the whole thing with it facing this way towards the light. Wah. Oh. Wah. What? Come on. Come on. There's a light right in front of your ass. Come on. Okay. Wah. There we go. Okay, now sound sensor. And I don't have another Furby to shoot IR at it. I'll get to that in a minute. I have Yoda, but his IR codes are completely different. So I had an old remote that came with an old robot vacuum. And I just shoot it with that a couple times. It's not the right signal, but it's a signal. Come on. Come on. Come on. I just keep whacking this button. Also, I think maybe this light interferes with that sometimes. Come on. There we go. Okay. So, another thing that I found weird, and again, I don't know if this is from the source code or what, but supposedly it won't actually, so from here, you wake it up and it resets. It factory resets, clears everything, writes new shit to it. I've heard that you can't reset it from here, or it will still contain the test data or whatever it had before. Like, it won't reset. But also, I've tested this multiple times today. And, so when I had it on, and again, the EEPROM test is the same every time. So that wouldn't have changed. But look, I can hit the reset button, and it will factory reset. Yep, back to normal pitch. Different name. So yeah, that is the Furby Babies TM. Wah. Nope. I'm just gonna put this mupper in deep sleep. What? Oh, that registers a tickle because I think I had my hand on that sensor. The sound sensor is really sensitive. You really don't even have to hold them until it only checks at the end of that song, at the end of each one. Okay, so now let's put him over here. And let's move on to Yoda. I think he is also on a fresh start because I tried with him as well. I have done the Jedi training before, 100%, but that was on the previous unit I had, not this one. This one I got close. I was on stage 4, but I didn't complete stage 4. So I was like, you know what? I don't mind. I'll do it again sometime.
Begin.
Yeah.
You will. Your Jedi training, my young apprentice.
So this one is going to be very hard to do. You have to hold both of his hands and reset. What? Oh. Wrong hole. Okay. I'm literally trying to balance the screwdriver in the reset button hole because I don't have enough hands to do that. Come on. Okay. Both hands.
You seek Yoda.
Also, that's a thing you can do. I love doing that.
Seek
It's
Yoda.
fun. You can the reset button, as far as the software, it's about the same as cut and power, but it doesn't completely on this one. And you can do slightly amusing things like that. Okay. So this works about like a Furby's test mode, except obviously there's nowhere near as many sensors. There's no tongue sensor. There's no sound sensor. And that's kind of what most of the test mode was. So if you think about it in terms of left hand is the same as tickle sensor and right hand is the same as pet sensor, it's literally the exact same. So what would be a tickle? Or no, what would be a pet? We'll go speaker test, hit it again, IR. You can hold it down and it'll keep shooting it too. And then of course, to get out, hold again what would be a tickle and then what would be the pet. So left and right. So yeah, EEPROM test, left hand. Oh, this gets, yeah, higher pitched. I think the Gen 2 Furbies the beeps I think might get lower pitched once you do the EEPROM test. But yeah, that, if I go out of it, if I reset from here, obviously there's no hunger or sickness or anything. But you'll go to stage 2.
Resume, we will.
Which is
Your
Jedi student, I
Jedi
think.
training, my Jedi student.
Yep. Okay, let's...
Your path to understanding the Force begins.
I'm normal. I do normal things. Wait, huh?
Resume,
Oh.
we will. Your Jedi training, my Jedi.
Come on.
You seek yoda?
Okay, I had to do that one more time because I'm, again, normal.
You seek yoda?
Okay. So, again, you do this test mode the exact same way. Flip them upside down. And you'll go to the tilt sensor test. And then you, of course, do the same thing. And again, because right hand equals back sensor, you go tilt. Also, it'll keep it'll keep doing those beeps. I don't know if the tilt sensor on mine's just slightly weird. But yep, so right hand, and that will start the motor moving one way. Hit the left hand, it'll move the other way. Hit the right hand again, it will calibrate. It'll do the normal thing. And then you don't need to hit the what would, again, I keep saying tickle sensor, but it's really not. It kind of is, but it's not. So from here it goes straight to the light sensor test. And then it goes to the IR test. His is very short compared to the other ones because, again, not many sensors. Now here's where things get interesting. Technically, any IR from the lightsaber will trigger it, but I want to show kind of a funny little thing here. If I open the battery compartment of the lightsaber. I don't know. I'm probably not the first person to find this, but I've never seen anybody else talking about it. If you open the compartment, you'll see, like, kind of in the, like, where the little thing where the screw goes in, the thing that sticks out, you'll notice there's two holes there. The one further in closest to that battery is the screw hole, but the one a little bit farther up, because I, again, like to mess with things, stuck a screwdriver in there one day. And I, noticed it clicked almost like a button, because it is a button in there. So if I were to close this, screw it back together, you kind of have to squeeze in there a little bit and go in there from a weird angle, because the plastic is covering that button, because you're not really meant to know that button's there. But let's see what happens if I hit that button. Got it. Yeah, the lightsaber has its own test mode. So now it's waiting for you to hit the contact. You don't have to hold it, but holding it comes in handy in the next section if you really need it to. So now it's looking for the motion, like the tilt sensor inputs. And you know all those crazy moves that the manual tells you about moving it left and right and all that? You really don't have to do that, because all the lightsaber registers is 3 positions. So, yeah, it registers straight up, parallel to the ground, like straight out, and I'm going to hold the contact for this, and straight down. Now it'll do a speaker test. It'll continue beeping until you let it go. Also, is a speaker blown on mine? Sounds slightly strange. Now, we got our mopper over here. Now it's going to test the IR transmitter. And then turn off. So for as long as I continue to hold it, it will send out the IR signal. If I just press it once, it will send it and then shut off. If I just like press it and then immediately release, it'll send it and then turn off. So now I can go. No. What? Oh, again, I think it's that light. Well, let's do this again. Come on. Come on. There we go. Here we go. I think you could also trigger the correct signal by triggering the IR test on another Yoda. But one thing I do want to say is Furbies, and then it's common knowledge that Furbies can't interact with Yoda, and the other way around. I think they use completely different IR, like they use a completely different IR format. Like the actual signals are, I don't know if they're laid out differently or how any of that works really, but a Furby, I'm gonna be careful not to hit the belly. And again, even if I do, it doesn't matter. But if I go to IR test on the Furby, Put Yoda back in TM. I've tried this also in normal mode, so it's not just a test mode thing. Oh, and also, of course, you can reset him as well, and he'll do that. And he'll clear the... Because I think it clears when it exits.
You seek Yoda.
There we go. Oh, let me turn the light back on. But yeah, turn this back off now because again, that light kind of interferes with the IR. And I don't think it's a matter of lining the sensors up either, because I've tried a lot of things and it just does not work. I'll just sit there and, you know, I can just sit there and keep holding the sensor, holding the back sensor on the baby and having it send out signals, and it will not work. And I can also blast the baby with the lightsaber and it won't recognize it. So yeah, no, it's just not doing anything. So yeah, Furbies and Yoda have completely different IR things, and to enter, or like to exit the test mode, it doesn't have to be the specific IR signal that it's looking for, but it does have to be at least a valid Furby IR signal. It can't just be if some IR gets shot at it, then it registers it. No, it has to at least be a Furby, like a valid Furby code. And in Yoda's case, it's the same. He needs something that he can, you know, at least recognize. Oh. What? That's weird. Oh, I didn't set that earlier. I just immediately started noising at it. Like that. And it didn't actually set the mommy. Okay, that confused me, but no. Okay. But yeah, I don't remember what I don't remember what the sort of ROM test, what the EEPROM test makes him do. Gizmo, honestly, I don't know. To be honest, one of the reasons I've never found Gizmo interesting is he may as well not even have an EEPROM to store things in. Because as far as I know, he doesn't evolve over time. He doesn't develop. He doesn't change. He doesn't have randomly selected values or anything. Like, you could factory reset him, and it would be the exact same as a normal reset. Could be wrong. Don't know much about Gizmo. So if anybody does, and it actually does more than I thought it does, you know, if there's more to it than I think there is, let me know, but also I don't think there is. As far as I know, Gizmo is just, if you were to rip the EEPROM out of a Furby, out of a Furby or a Furby baby and give it a different voice, it's just Furby, but not what makes a Furby a Furby. I don't know. Not shitting on the people that like him. He's just never really been for me. I think that's about it. Like I said, as far as EPROM tests, Shelby gets high pitched. He doesn't have a name or anything, but he gets high pitched, goes to stage 2. What I was gonna say earlier about Furby baby voice pitches is technically they are not meant to have different pitches, but as you see in test mode, if you plop the test data in by hitting the belly in that first section, it can go higher. And also, one of my favorite videos to show people when the subject of Furbies comes up is, I'd have to link the video in the description. I don't remember what it's called. Something about Prototype 99 Furby Baby. It turns out like it actually wasn't. I didn't think it was, but I guess somebody thought it did. That person must have thought it was. It just needed a factory reset, and it was fine again. But yeah, you can. I don't know how they would have gotten that. Honestly, I'm interested. I wish that there was a way to like. Maybe there is. I don't know. But I wouldn't know how to. I wouldn't know how to do any of that. I wish that you could just pop it out of a Furby and write your own values to it and see what changed. Because honestly, that sounds really fun. I want to corrupt a Furby. Because again, I don't know. Like, you can always factory reset. Nothing will break it. I remember glitching a Furby baby to the point where it was so broken where it literally would not start up. And there was nothing I could do but factory reset it. You know, of course, batteries, reset button, none of that worked. It was like bricked. I mean, not bricked, obviously, because again, you can factory reset it, but something in the flash, in the EEPROM, just was preventing it from starting up or something. And it just wouldn't start, and I had to factory reset to get rid of that. But no, I don't know, corrupting a Furby sounds fun. But anyway, there's that video where the Furby has this really low, like really low-pitched monotone voice. The reason it's monotone is because, and I don't know the technical shit behind LPC, but from what I've heard, because I have a couple friends that really study and look into LPC based things, if a recording is played at one specific pitch, it will, you know, at its normal pitch, it'll sound alright. But LPC isn't like normal audio. Normal audio, you know, if you have, I don't know, different pitched notes or whatever, or different pitches in a thing, you can play it and it obviously won't, you know, you can pitch it up or down and play it and it won't sound like it was intended, but it will still sound in tune and everything. But because LPC isn't technically pre-recorded audio, it's based on pre-recorded audio, but it's not really. Like, the audio itself isn't. The lower pitched something gets, the less sort of space between pitch values it has. That's why Furbies with the high-pitched voice sound a lot more, I guess, expressive. There's a lot more sort of inflection, a lot more variation in the pitch when it speaks versus the low ones. So again, there's a video of that Furby, of a Furby baby, that like the pitch of its voice barely changed, and it was funny. I don't know why that makes me laugh. But yeah, that's about it. See, I wish you could do that with a Shelby. I wish you could do that with the Shelby. But Shelby is running... One, the battery box would probably make it slightly weird to glitch. You could probably still do it if it allowed you to, but it doesn't. It's running the updated... I guess, it's running on the updated hardware, I guess, or whatever, that will more often than not reset on low batteries and not glitch out or anything. Shelby kind of does that, and from what I've heard from somebody that isn't too trustworthy, who apparently saw it in a video somewhere, the Angel and President Furbies run on that same shit, so they don't glitch the hell out and you don't get really cool LPC noises out of those like you do with a normal Furby. I don't know if that's true, but supposedly it is. I don't know. Somebody again will have to let me know, I guess. But yeah, I think I've rambled enough. I do a lot of that. My brain doesn't function normally when I do a lot of rambling. And this is unedited. So, I don't know. If you want, more concise versions of everything I've said, I will, I'll throw links to the other two videos in the description, and also I'll throw the link to the funny Furby baby at the end, also in there as well, because it's stupid, it's funny, and I love it. Alright, I'm done. This shit's long enough. See y'all next time, muppers.